hello. We want to welcome you to Her News International, where it is all things her. We're educating, equipping, and empowering women to move in their purpose, their passion, and their power so that they may proclaim their destiny. I am your host, Dr. Deranche, your kingdom strategist. I'm so glad that you have joined me on today because guess what? We got an amazing episode that have been planned just for you. We are talking about expanding your faith, your family, and your finances with my very special guest, studio guest that we're having here today, who is none other than the amazing, phenomenal, outstanding Lawanna Bradford from the Bradford Group LLC. Hello, Lawanna. Thank you so much for joining us on today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Darache. It's always a pleasure to share the platform with you. So I'm looking forward to this episode.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this episode as well. I'm so glad that you've joined us here because I think it's a very vital, important message and conversation that we need to have for women around the world. But listen, you guys, before we jump in, dive in, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and share this broadcast on your social media platforms so that those that you know can get in on this conversation. We're talking about expanding your faith, your family, and your finances. Now, let me tell you something, gentlemen. I know that this is Her News International. However, don't scroll, don't change the channel. I want you to stay locked and loaded right here because what we're going to be discussing, hey, it is not bound by gender. We're just speaking to the woman, but the principle you can use in your life. And guess what? There's some hers that you know that you can share this information with because she really needs you to help push her into her destiny. So listen, I'm excited about today's show. So listen, I want to not prolong the show. I want to you guys to get to know who this amazing guest is. For those that may not be familiar with her and her brand, I'm telling you, she is absolutely amazing. She is definitely a mover and a shaker, right? And a connector around the world. So I'm so excited to definitely her being on this platform and us doing some amazing work together as well. So Lawanna, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am a connector. And what that means is through the 30 years of experience that I've had as a serial entrepreneur in multiple business lanes, I help both big business and small business connect the dots when it comes to achieving their vision and goals, being able to navigate through the obstacles, changing those stumbling blocks into stepping stones. And then I also help to align both business and investors in with their finances that they need to expand their income as it relates to residential mortgages as well as business financing. So just think of me as the connector, helping you get to where you want to be.
Wow. So yes, absolutely amazing. Listen, she's the connector, helping you get to the destination. So if you got a vision, a dream, a goal that you are looking to get from your destination to wait from sorry, your location to your destination, then guess what? She's the connector for you. So, listen, on today, Lawanna, we're here to talk about a very serious matter, and especially when it comes to women, concerning faith, finances, as well as family. So, I want to start here. I want to start here because I also want to set in the mindset of people because I'm always talking about multiple platforms and how one particular vision or idea that it can be taken and it can just spread like wildfire on various platforms. So of course we're having the Celebrate You International Women's Conference, but before we jump into that, I want to talk about like how it came about And because I want to connect people with how things can branch out, as well. So I want to talk about that Celebrate You Woman of the Year awards show. Listen, she loves celebrating women and have a heart and a passion about it. So let's start there.
Yes. Well, Celebrate You, the Woman of the Year, was founded in our movement called Celebrate You Women Embracing Wellness. And it is a truly a movement designed to help women from all backgrounds, all experiences, to understand what it means to love and celebrate themselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, because we know it takes money to create the shifts and movements that we want. And in this community, in this movement, we believe that when a woman is able to do that and she's supported and girded by the men in her life, then she can be an instrument of change in her family, her community, the nation, and the world. And so we celebrate every month a woman who is really rising up and doing something not only impactful in the movement, but outside, within her sphere of influence. And Dr. Duranche, I know you were recognized as a Celebrate You Woman of the Month for August 2021. And we had our Woman of the Year award show. And afterwards, you tapped me on the shoulder and you said, well, is there a way that we can collaborate and take things to the next level? Where we take these messages that each of these women have and showcase it on a global stage. And if anyone knows me, I'm like, sounds good to me. Why not? And that is actually the impetus behind now our Celebrate You International Women's Conference. And I just encourage all of you that are listening to us this morning and the replay that don't box yourself in when it comes to opportunity. You never know how that door is going to open. You never know who's going to tap you on the shoulder and give you an idea that can catapult you into realms that you didn't even see for yourself. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Duranche for just having this vision that aligns with where we're going. And it's like, okay, let's bridge. I am her, Celebrate You. We've been talking for a few years now. Let's make it happen, right?
Right, right. Listen, you're absolutely right, and I love it. And so this is where the magic of collaboration happens. So we went from a place of celebration, right? But celebrating women, they had it on their heart in their community just to, encourage women, because sometimes we're just not celebrated in our spaces, or we don't even celebrate ourselves, right? So we come from a place of celebrating and these 12 amazing women, and we all are powerful and making major moves in our own little space, right? And then now we come into a place of how about we just bring all of this greatness together to collaboration. And so, Lawanna, with that being said, I want you to give us what is the power behind collaboration to you?
Oh my goodness. It just brings me to the thought of the African proverb that says that you can go far by yourselves, but you can by yourself, but you can go farther together. And that's what collaboration is. It's it can be taking similar skill sets, but we all have different areas of influence that you come together, and it's like how can we work together? How can we leverage our expertise, our knowledge, our resources, our communities to advance this collective mission even further. And if you noticed on our name banners, both Dr. Darashi and I have strategists in our titles. And some people would say, "Oh my gosh, you're competing." Well, technically, you could say we could be competitors, but we choose to take it up a notch and say, as Shay Brown says, collaboration crushes competition. So we're taking it to another dimension. We're looking at the strengths, the genius that we both bring to the table, and we're saying, how can we bridge this to reach even more, to have a greater impact? So it's not about feeling, um, I guess, less than, or feeling as though someone's going to step on my toes because she's a strategist too. Dr. Darashi is a brilliant strategist. I love being with my sister and brother, fellow strategists. We are a unique breed. We see life very different. So I love being in that circle, and I think that there's strength in numbers.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is definitely strength in numbers, and we are able to absolutely go further. And so, with that being said, with collaboration allowing us to be a greater light in the world, that's going to bridge us over to the Celebrate You International Women's Conference, where we are helping women expand their faith, their families, and their finances. Lawanna, why is that important for such a time as this?
Well, it's so easy to chase the dollar, right? To just be or busy doing, but not busy being. We're human beings. So that the first thing starts with who we are, who we were divinely created to be. And that's the faith piece. We can do a whole bunch of stuff, but if we are not connected with who we are and whose we are, sometimes we can feel like we're running amok. So that's why we built these the cornerstone is faith. The faith in that you are that there is a bigger power that is helping you to guide and to navigate through this life, and that for me, for Dr. Durance, we're women of faith, we're Christians, but we believe that God has a purpose for us, that this life isn't just a life by happenstance. And so once you're able to tap in and plug into that purpose, then you show up in a different way in your family. And family is not just the family that you may give birth to or that you were born into, but that extended family of community, of humanity, and how we can come together to be a change, to be a light. And then when those two pieces connect, again, when your purpose is guiding you, I believe success is inevitable. The money will come. You don't need to chase the money. It will come. The resources that you need to do what you were purposed to do will be there. So that's why I think it is so important. With Dr. Darashi, one of the things we've talked about is women tend to not want to talk about money. There is a financial crisis facing women, not just in the US, but around the world. But we got to change that narrative. We have to understand what money is, how money works, and how can it work for us in order to create uh, the life that we want. And I'm not talking about lifestyle of the rich and famous. If that's your purpose, then that's fine. But I'm talking about the. It is sad to think that there are women around the world wondering, can I have drinkable water for my children? Can I get health care for my children? Can I ensure that I don't have to walk miles and miles and miles just to get a good food source? We're talking about your basic fundamental needs that when we are able to bring money into those communities that are struggling or emerging, then we can help them to create the sustainability that they need, right? It's not right for the US to be the wealthiest nation in the world. We've got 7.5 billion people in the world. 5 billion have concern about the health care that they can provide to their children. 5 billion. That's a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's where the collaboration begins to begin to come together, right? And not only just collaboration, but also even providing a space in the Celebrate You platform and the I Am Her platform, providing a place where women can be open with their truth, right? And but also providing a place not where we're just hearing your truth, but also let's looking at strategies on how we can transform, right? That we can transform what's happening in your life so that right you can live better, your children can live better, right? Your community can be so much more greater as well. And I love the fact when you talked about just getting into that space and that lane of purpose, purpose. And once you're there, you don't have to chase the money, the money chase you. And
Yes.
so, and that's something that I want us to really take away from here today, is that if I get in my space and on my lane, get in that place of authority that you've been designed, right, to move and operate in your brilliance, in your greatness, and all the things, the passion and the love that you put into what you do, it will definitely attract, right? It will bring the attraction of the finances. So I absolutely love that as well. And so I want to put a plug right here for both of these organizations, is right here. If you are a woman, right, and you're looking for sisterhood, right, you're looking for a support system, you're looking for spaces to be celebrated in, or you're looking for to come and sit at table with like-minded individuals, or you're looking for sisters who have the heart and the passion to help pull you up, right, to help, who have a desire for your family to be changed, the dynamics of your family to be changed, I definitely want you to connect with these organizations. I want to give them the information on how they can join Celebrate You.
Sure, it's really easy. If you are on Facebook or not, join Facebook and connect with us on Celebrate You Women Embracing Wellness. Celebrate You Women Embracing Wellness. Easy breezy.
Absolutely. And for us, you guys can go to our Facebook group at I Am Her International. If you can't find it there, just go to our website www.iamherinternational.com and click on the social media button that's on there, and it'll take you right on over to us so that you may connect with us as well. And so, Lawanna, here, going back to women in their faith, right, and having to expand their faith so that they can get the desires of their heart. Let's talk about what this particular conference is founded on and how it's going to help women come to that place where they're moving to the next level within their visions or their dreams that they have for their family, their community, and their finances.
Well, the word tells us that people perish for lack of knowledge, and that's when you think about it, it's lack of sight. You know, when you have a knowing, and that's like you have the aha has clicked on. Now you're able to see. Now you have a better understanding. And Habakkuk tells us to cast the vision, right? To make it plain. So whatever it is that you desire in your life, you have to crystallize it in your heart. And I believe that God truly gives us the desires of our heart. But you have to first believe. How can you have this vision that everyone else has bought into, but you haven't?
Mm,
And
mm,
often we do that. We look to the left, we look to the right, we get bitten by comparativitis, right? We're comparing ourselves, and we don't realize that it's for an appointed time. We can't measure our lane with someone else's, our race with someone else's. There is a time for maturation. There is a time of grooming that is needed for you to step up to your destiny, whatever that may be. But you have to first be willing to see. I'm going to say that again. You have to be willing to see, because when you see and you see clearly, no one can distort you. No one can slap those rose colored glasses back on your face. You've removed it, you know where you're going, and you are pressing toward that mark. Dr. Delanche.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about what we're doing here at the conference, as we're bringing global leaders. Right? We're bringing global leaders. We're going to talk about them after we finish here. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. But we're bringing global leaders around the world that believe in women and believe in them obtaining their very heart desire. And so this is the thing here, Lawanna, that I believe, because I mean we're talking about just having vision, right? And it's one thing to have it. Just like you said, it's one thing to have vision, but it's another thing to be activated. right? In your vision and your dreams and in your goals. And sometimes people have vision, they have sight, but they don't have insight on how to, on the how to, right? Bring forth the manifestation. They don't know what the next step is going to look like or what it needs to look like. That's why I think it's so important that women, that you guys join us on this platform, because we're here to show you the next. What could that next possibly look like for you, so that you can have that action plan, or you can have some actionable steps that you can begin to move forward in by faith, so that the vision, the dreams of your desires can manifest. So um, Lawanna talked about having a vision, but not believing, but not believing, or not really having the faith in that. And so, but before we transition, Luana, I want you to discuss, why do you think we have limited beliefs, right? In what it is that has been given unto us.
Sure. Well, I like to actually kind of decouple vision and dreams. I don't see them necessarily as the same, even though they can be interchanged. And I'm using that for this purpose because when we think about when we're sleeping, we're dreaming, right? And we're not in an active state. It's our unconscious mind is taking over, right? And things may be happening, and then you have a dream. But a vision is, to me, the next level of that dream state. It has become awakened. So now, and I don't know if any of you have had a dream where you wake up and it's so real that you know that God just spoke to me. And now that has become translated into a vision to where you're able to paint it or describe it so much that your emotions are tapped to it and tied into it. So I believe that when we are tapped in, tuned in, tied into that vision, sold out for it, then it becomes a dream, it becomes a wish, it becomes a hope. But when it's a vision, it's gonna be because it's already been spoken. We're creative beings tied to the divine. And if he's told you and shown you that something's going to happen, it's going to happen. Now you got to back up and do the work and navigate the journey to get there. So for me, it has a very different indication. And I think even when we think about businesses and their planning, the first thing they do after their mission, the day to day, it's like, what's the vision? Where do we want to go? Where do we see ourselves going? Why is that it's so important for business success? Because it helps to create that momentum of moving forward. They don't say, where do we hope we go? Where do we let's dream about it? It's like, no, where do we see ourselves? It's a line of sight that I truly believe is divinely inspired if you choose to tap into that higher level of consciousness. And again, that higher level of consciousness is driven by God. It really is. When you think of all of uh, of our higher faculties, that's what differentiates us from the other mammals in the world, right? It separates man from beast, woman from beast. So I truly believe it's a certain sightedness that we can have, that we are entitled to, that takes us above and beyond the dream state to an active state.
Awesomeness, awesomeness, awesomeness. So, even with women who, we have these visions, and you have some women who are, they're moving in, or they're operating in, right? What it is that has been given unto them, unto them. And but sometimes even in that space, they find themselves limited to be able to move even further. What would be your advice for a woman, right, who's already there, activated, moving, but now they're in a space where they feel like they're just on a wheel going nowhere?
Sure. I would first say to pause and ask yourself, number one, why do you feel that you're spinning and not moving forward, right? Because sometimes God places us in a pause moment to develop something in us. Sometimes he places us in that holding pattern because there's some ash and trash that we need to deal with within ourselves to ready us for the next level. Sometimes he puts us in that holding pattern because there's people that we should no longer be aligned with. So before you say, oh my gosh, I'm in the wrong space and I need to move, again, if your vision is clear, but you're holding, then ask, why am I here? Why is there a delay? What do I need to learn from this pause? There's power in the pause. Don't fear the pause. God says, be still and know that I am God. Be still. Sometimes that means you're sitting on that stoop for a minute or two before he says, okay, now let's rise and move on.
Right, getting the information and the instructions that you need. The other thing is, I believe you said something about, you may be in a holding pattern because you are holding on to things that may just need to be released. And one of the things that we talk about, and one of the things that I definitely teach is that we as individuals, you got to know why people are in your life, why they're there, and and with knowing what they're there, there's a vision. That's even a vision, for that. And with that, it has, some people are there for a specific season, and then you have those that are there for a lifetime. And but once you understand the connection between you and an individual, then you'll be able to understand when is that time to, I'm saying, to that time of separation. And not that, that you guys may not do work again or things of that, or that you can't continue to be friends. It's just that you're no longer able to work in the capacity that you guys were, because what needed to be done is absolutely done as well. The other thing that I want to bring out
Can I
here.
give just one little quick example of what you just
Yeah,
said?
go ahead.
So, with my company, the Bradford Group, we are in our 16th year. The company was founded by my brother, Harlan Bradford. And during the 2007 2008 crisis, he said, I've got to do move on so that I can ensure my family is okay. But I still held on to the vision. So he left, but I still held on to the vision. And I say that the vision doesn't die just because people depart. God's vision is sure, and he will get whoever he needs to carry it out. So even that was my brother. And even though he said, I've got to move on, the business still continued, but the relationship is still there. So, you bless and release. Don't try to hold on and keep something that wasn't intended. And once he left, then we started moving in other areas. And it wasn't that he was holding it back. It was just the time he wasn't intended to go to the next level with the Bradford Group. He it was for him to start it. It was for him to cast the vision. It was for me to execute the vision.
All right, Alexa, you said something very, very great and powerful. Thank you, Billy, for joining. Bless you. You said something great and very, very powerful in that example, and I hope you guys take that away with you as well. He had to start it, she had to implement, execute, and she had to continue to run, right? With it. So, and that still comes with understanding the vision, knowing where you fit in the vision as well, so that you can continue to run your race, whether others are running with you or not, right? Still have so much love for them. The other thing is, the one that I wanted to like kind of pull in here, just a little bit in this conversation is the importance of having others, right? So your strategist, your strategist, your business and financial strategist. I'm a strategist, as well. But having those in your circle, or investing in yourself so that you can also go to that next as well. Let's talk about that. How important is that?
Well, I'll talk about investing in yourself. I hear so many women in business or just women in life. It's like, well, I want something to happen, but it's like, but are you taking time for you? You know, if we're talking about personal development, are you taking time out of the busyness, because that can feel good to us, and stepping aside to say, okay, I need to first of all set boundaries, learn how to say no, and take time to allow others or the word or other things to pour into me so I can become more expansive and more impactful. Or in your business, are you willing, are you sold out into what, again, that vision that you're willing to invest in it? Or I got to share this funny story. Or are you like some women who say, well, I want to find all the free I can get because I prefer not to invest if I can get free. Well, if you don't believe in your own business, why should anyone else? So, and I find that that's really a common theme. I don't understand why, but there is a saying: it takes money to make money. It takes resources in order to expand resources. There's time investment. There's money investment. Other resources, partnership investments. You got to come to the table. If you're not willing to come to the table, stop standing on the sidelines with, asking for a handout. Yeah, I think that is the most insulting thing someone in business can do.
You're absolutely right. How can you reap from something you're not willing to sow in? Right? That's the principle. In order to reap the harvest, you have to sow into it. And that time, I do the three T's of time, talent, and treasure, right? You have to
Yes.
be willing to do that. And you're right, that is insulting. That's an insult for even people that you're coming to, and want the all the free service that you can get, but it's also an insult to your brilliance, right? It's an insult to your brilliance first because of your lack of belief as well. And so we're talking about expanding faith in family and finances here, on today, so that we can begin to change the trajectory of just lives around the world, communities around the world, and women being that vehicle to make it happen. Lawanna, so you just hit on, women, first of all, that investment piece within themselves, right? But then there's another side, and still dealing with the financial piece, because some women don't feel that they're worthy enough or they're brilliant enough, or what they bring to the table is enough to even charge what they're worth.
Mm, yeah, and that goes back to your money story. You know, we all grew up in a household and we heard something about money, whether it was money doesn't grow on trees, you got to work hard for your money, whatever it is, but somehow that impressed upon you. And it shapes how your relationship with money. Again, money is only energy. It's a method of exchange. It has no value until you put a value on it. So you have to love yourself and believe in your gifts and talents that you bring in the world enough to know that you are worth fair market value, whatever that is. And it's okay to ask for the sale. And I'd like you to talk about this, Dr. Durache, because I notice women are scared to ask. You know,
Right.
they'll tell you all what they offer, but they won't ask for the sale. They won't close it.
And I think that's where that fear rejection, I think, and women that I've, worked with and things of that nature, I think that's where the fear rejection really plays a part, as well. And so that's where that healing needs to take place, and things of that nature, because you think, hey, I'm gonna be rejected if I ask for the sale. And then you have others, and let me just say this, let me just help you out. You're gonna probably get 9 no's before you get the one yes. Okay. But this is what that Lawanna, that I had to just come with even in myself, right? And even, with other people and those who want to work with me and things of that nature. It's just, listen, my price is what it is. So, and if you're not willing to make the investment, then I'm not the one that you need to work with, right? You're not my ideal client. You're just not my ideal client. But I had to come to that conclusion first. I had to come to the place where I had to say, you know what? I'm valuable enough. What I bring to the table, can't nobody bring it to the table the way that I can bring it to the table. So I had to first begin to have faith in myself, right? I had to push past, or I had to push past all of those negative things, right? Even from childhood, that I was, like you said, exposed to, the things that your experiences and your exposure, and push through those things. And so, how do I do that? By looking at the truth, reading what the truth, knowing what the truth is. He said, "Listen, I give you the ability to generate wealth." Okay. He gave me a talent. He gave me the ability, right? He gave it to me. So this is what he's giving me to generate wealth. And the sad thing is, what he's giving us to generate wealth, we don't generate the wealth in there because we have limited beliefs about what it is that we do. And if somebody is going to pay us what we are asking. And so I challenge for those who struggle with that is to, number one, find yourself in the word, and begin to use the word as your affirmation, right? Because faith comes by hearing the word, and hearing the word of God. So hearing what thus says the Lord. And then even when it's time to make the sale, right? When it comes down to make the sale or make the offer, then what you should do, even if negativity come in your mind, just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. And the more you just you're hearing what thus says the Lord, and you're doing it, that noise is going to begin to become more, it's going to minimize, it's going to continue to minimize itself within your mind. And then you're going to find yourself obtaining the level of income that you deserve, that you deserve, because of the brilliance that you bring to the world, and because of those who need you are willing. This is the crazy thing, Lawanna. Those who are assigned to you, they're willing to invest your price. You just not asking.
Right. Yeah. What you're saying is so key. Sometimes so you think about fishing, right? There is a certain way to catch a a whale, for example, versus a minnow. Whale, minnow, different instruments are needed. Different type of bait is needed. Maybe let me use a shark, okay? Because most of us aren't fishing for whales, but let's say shark. A shark versus a minnow. So you have to know, what are you fishing for? Do you have the right bait, meaning the right message, the right thing that's going to attract them to you? And are you secure enough in your instrument that you are able to bring them in? Because often we're trying to catch that shark with minnow bait. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
See, that's a whole nother conversation. So that's a whole nother conversation. When I say a whole nother conversation, a whole nother conversation, right? And what she just said, those who may not be familiar um, with fishing. Look, when you go to, and we know cars, it's a different type of flow when you have from a Pinto to a Rolls Royce. I'm just saying, right? You don't come on a Rolls Royce lot with, you ain't coming there with $20,000, right? You ain't coming there with 50. No, that ain't what you coming on that lot for, right? At all, period, whatsoever. And the makers of that brand, they not trying to sell nobody no Pintos, right? And Pintos could be is flying out off the shelves or what have you for that customer base. That's not the customers that, what I'm saying, they're looking for. So you have to make sure, if your brand, so I'm gonna put it like this. So you can't be asking nobody for $5,000 come in with a $200 product. Just bottom. I'm just going to bring it, or $200 messaging or branding for that say, or, what have you. But then we have those on the other end. It was this one person. I called her. I was reading her post, and I called her. And I was like, "Sis, what's going on? What happened to the ass?" I said, "I'm reading your post. I'm all drawn in and all the things, and I get to the end, and you just dropped me. You just dropped off." I said, "People would have." I said, "Your message was so articulated. Right? They would have went for the buy. They would at least went to look at what it was you were selling, whatsoever." I was like, "But you forgot to put the ask on the table. What's going on?"
Yeah. My dad often says we have to be careful not to fall in love with the sound of our own voice that we forget to ask for the sale.
That's good. That's good. That's
You
good.
know, we're
That's
busy pitching, right? But we're not saying, hey, what's the call to action?
right. That part was totally missing. And then she was like, "Oh yeah." And we went to other. I'm like, "Come on now." I said, "The people are waiting. The people are waiting," and she do it frequently. So that's why I had to call her and was like, "This was the perfect, the perfect answer. I know what you're trying to build to." So we also have to also make sure, you just said, make sure we're that we put the ass there, right? Make sure that the ass is there. Listen, when you're building your PowerPoints or you're doing your webinars or whatever, or you get ready to do your social media posts or whatever, what have you, before you start writing your copy, just go ahead and put the sale piece there. Put the offer there, okay? If it's one of those posts, if it's a post where you are selling, just go ahead and put it in there so you will not forget. That's just a tip. That's a tip so that you won't forget there. So let's come back over here. We have like game changers, right? We have global game changers. That's in this conference, right? That's in the Celebrate You virtual International Women's Conference. And if you guys ain't got your ticket, I need you to go ahead and go over there and grab your ticket because you do not want to miss this amazing conference as we're helping women expand their faith, their family, and their finances. And if you're a woman that's looking to expand in any one of those spaces, you want to be there. Let's talk about these global leaders that's joining us, Lawanna.
Yes, so we're starting off with a keynote, Shay Brown. Shay Brown is a sales guru extraordinaire. He's globally renowned. In fact, he last year he was recognized by USA Today News as one of the top 15 entrepreneurs to look out for. So he is going to be coming to talk about showing up and selling yourself, right?
Mm.
Believing in you. You got to. It starts first with you. And then we have Linda Duong, who's out of Australia. She is going to be talking about the importance of linking, again, your faith, your family, your finances, but again, from a belief standpoint that life can happen, but that still doesn't get in the way of your dreams. We have other speakers, and I'll just give their names for time's sake. So we have Audra Agan, we have Tracy Oriomi. We have me, Barbara Beckley, Deborah Morrison, Larcinia White, Mary Ellen Saganovich. We have three panelists, Serena Bufalino, who is coming out of Canada. I failed to mention Sammy Blundell out of the UK will be a speaker. We also have Jacqueline Lulu Brown, and we have Irene Baxberg. So there will be a panel discussion just around the 5 pillars of Celebrate You: mental, emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual wellness. And then each of these pillars will be talked about by the speakers during this 2 day conference in a very unique way that is actionable. So it's not just talking to you, but engaging with you and then giving you key tips and strategies to expand your family, well, faith, family, and then your finances.
Look, absolutely. And I'm so excited about it. Listen, we have individuals, look, from the US all the way down to the to down under Australia, okay? That's taking the stage just for you. And you know, there are many women, many of you all out there, y'all been asking God, y'all been praying, y'all been crying out, asking for help. God, I need this. God, I know you're giving me this vision, but I need help. I need to figure out how to make the next move. Or I need more finances in order to do X, Y, Z. My family need this to grow, or my community need that. Whatever it is, you've been praying, and I believe that God has answered. Okay, I believe God has answered, and He has brought the answer together with individuals who've connected, who've made the decision that we're going to come on one accord and do a greater work at the Celebrate You International Women's Virtual Conference. And so I do believe that you need to make sure you grab your ticket. Then you need to get five more of your friends, your family, and make sure that they get their ticket for only $15. That is like a very minimum investment in what it is that you're going to get in return for this conference. If this is a time to invest, the other thing that I love about it, what me and Lawanna has decided to do, listen, as you invest in yourself, right, and come and be a part of this conference, you're going to help, right? A nonprofit organization, Help Heal Humanity. We've decided to take the proceeds of that and hand it over to a nonprofit organization, Help Heal Humanity, so that they can further move in the vision and what it is that God has given unto them. So, how powerful is that? Not only are you going to be investing in yourself, but what we've decided to do with it is going to also help you be a part of something even more, even greater as well, with helping out Help Heal Humanity. I just absolutely love that, love that, love that. Lawana,
I love how you put that, Dr. Duranche, because so often individuals think, "Oh, I wish I could do more, but I can't." Now we're showing you by you investing your $15 in you, for you and your family. We're taking that and saying we're allowing you now to be a part of this great global nonprofit charity that is making a difference in the lives of children around the world. So that's pretty powerful.
absolutely, and I love it. And guess what? And look, and here we go back with collaboration, Lawana, because you know how many people that come and invest that $15. Those $15 add to hundreds and thousands, right?
Yes.
And begin to make an impact, you know, as well. And that's the power of collaboration. That's the power of collaboration. And then it allows, you know, everyone's $15 to go further, right? To go further and do
Yes.
more and make a greater impact. Man, that's absolutely powerful. I love that. So you heard Luana say that we're taking the stage as well. So with that being said, Luana, I want you to let them know what it is that they can expect from you at the Celebrate You Virtual Women International Conference.
Well, I'm going to be talking about overcoming darkness because we all go through life. Keep living, life happens, and how we can take off those lenses, see the light, and navigate through the stumbling blocks that have maybe trapped us or before us. And there are three keys to coming out of darkness. There's success leaves clues, and I'm going to share a little bit about my story, how I lost almost everything, including health challenges. But I applied these three steps in order to elevate, in order to rise, in order to rebuild, in order to live a life of that's victorious and more expansive than it was before the darkness came. So that's what I'll be talking about: overcoming darkness and three keys that you need anytime you find yourself in a dark space.
Oh wow, I love it. I love it. Listen, many people are. coming out, or we're in this transition of coming out of a dark place. So we definitely need these keys, and we don't know what tomorrow holds. Right? You don't know what tomorrow holds. So without knowing what tomorrow holds is always an opportunity to come and obtain wisdom and knowledge and put them in a toolbox for its appointed time. I've been wanting to get back to that appointed time. I wanted to get back to that for its appointed time. Listen, there's a time of the season for every activity under the sun. I'm just saying. And so you just never know what the appointed time is going to be. And I also believe that this is a time that has been appointed, designated, and set apart. I believe part of the Jeremiah 29:11 plan that God has put together just for you, women of God, so that you can expand in your faith, your family, and your finances. Lawanna said earlier she definitely believe, and I'm a component, I believe that as well, that God gives you the desires of your heart, right? But in the desires, many times, Lawanna, we think that, you know, we ask God for something, and let's say most time we ask God for money. So, like, God, I need $5,000, right? And then I don't know what's up with the $5,000 today, but anyway, I need $5,000, and we think that God is just going to place the $5,000 in our hands. But more than likely, He established a plan for you to obtain whatever that is. It is planned, is orchestrated out for the manifestation, and which causes you to have an active faith to move in those action steps so that you can obtain what it is that you are so desiring within your heart. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love, because information alone is not going to help you get there. We're talking about implementation. You've been to a lot of things. You've obtained a lot of stuff. You've done research on Google. You don't research Facebook, YouTube. You don't research so many platforms looking for information. What happens if you come into an environment and you receive information that they also provide implementation for you, things you're going to be able to implement right then and there, things that some of them you're going to be implementing as they're talking, right? And others you're going to come away that day with steps to go and move and be activated in those things right then and there for whatever it is that you need, right? In your life, as it concerns those 5 pillars, whether it's in finances, health, what was it?
Spiritual,
Spiritual,
mental, and
mental,
emotional.
emotional. Like, why did that go blank in my mind? But whether it's any one of those spaces, listen, it is the implementation of implementation of information is going to be there for you. What if you came and
Mm.
you moved in the action steps that they have provided for you? And all I can hear in my mind is that the search is over, Lawanna. That's all I can hear in my mind. Is that the search is over. So, Lawanna, do you have any last minute thoughts to provide to the audience? And I'm going to get the flyer up so they'll know, look, the day, because I don't think we mentioned it at all yet, but it is July the 22nd and the 23rd.
Yes, thank you. I just want to encourage everyone that's live listening to the replay, please be a part of this international conference. We are going to be celebrating ourselves, but what Dr. Durache said, it's about implementation. We've all been to conferences, seminars, where we're getting information and it's great and we're getting excited, but then we go home and we're like, okay, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I heard all the things you did, but you left out the how. Well, this is going to give you executable, proven steps that every speaker has used in their own life and in their own business. This is not a business conference, it is an empowerment conference. Because when you are truly empowered in all those lanes, then you can have the impact, the influence, and the income that you want. I'm excited about it. And there's a little bit of like I'm a little nervous. Like, oh my gosh, we're really hitting the international platform. And yes, we are doing so. We're going to take it by storm. We're going to show up in boldness with the promise and hope that God has given us, that we are going to be touching lives around the world. My personal goal is that I change the life of 1 million women around the world. Well, I can't do it by myself. It takes a collective effort with partnerships with Dr. Duranche, with Celebrate You, I Am Her, individuals just like you who are going to be coming and then passing on those messages that you've learned to your children, to your daughters, to your sons, sharing them within your communities and networks. That's how we're going to reach 1 million people. It's a collective wave of change. And I am so glad that we are being led by the spiritual undergirding of this message of this conference, which is, casting the vision and making it plain and trusting that I always like to close that when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Thank you so much, Dr. Duranche, for having me on this platform. It's always a pleasure to be a part of Her News International.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure whenever we can connect together on whoever platform that we are on. As well. But listen, you guys, we definitely want to make sure that you guys get the opportunity to meet us and greet us here at the Celebrate You International Women's Conference, expanding your faith, your family, and your finances on July the 22nd through the 23rd. Tickets are only $15. And guess what? You get front row seats right in the comfort of your home. Because it is a virtual conference. And so we want to see you there and see that's how powerful God is, right? That is just so how amazing He is because He cut back all of the excuses that we could have when it comes to money, when it comes to time, and all the things. Listen, He has set it up in place so that those things that you've been speaking to Him about, now you can come into an implementation space so that they can begin to manifest in your very life. Lawanna, before we go, they got to know how to connect with you.
Yes, you can connect with me on all things social media. Lawanna Bradford, Instagram, it's the Lawanna Bradford. Or visit our website, learn what we're doing on the financial landscape at Bradford Group MT.com. Would love to connect with you. And definitely come over to Celebrate You Women Embracing Wellness on Facebook and join us.
Yes, 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 and yes. Y'all definitely make sure that you connect, connect, and connect. You've been watching Her News International, where it is all things her, but we're educating, empowering, encouraging, employing, and pushing women to move in their purpose, their passion, their power, so that they may proclaim their destiny. This episode, we were dealing with expanding your faith, your family, and finances with the amazing Lawanna Bradford with the Bradford Group LLC. We're so excited that she was a guest with us on today. You can connect with us at I Am Her International on all social media platforms, or you can go to www.iamherinternational.com and remember to go on over and pick up your tickets on today. Today, I'm saying today, right on over on Eventbrite and pick up your ticket today and be a part of the Celebrate You International Women's Conference right at the comfort of your own home. I am your host, Dr. Deranche, your kingdom strategist. Until next time, remember that you are her in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.